This is the code that we have written to create a visa application page from where external applicants submit their visa applications into the Onfinity ERP system. So this is the home.aspx page in which we have done our work. We have designed this and added some elements like name, gender, and all the personal details and key elements which are required on the UI. This is the designing part. Let us go to the model part first. In the model, what we have done in this API call class is created a generic method called request, which will consume the API via VAAPI and return the result. Here, we have configured all the endpoints. As you can see, login and get clients, every endpoint is mentioned here. This request method is called from the home.aspx page for whatever request we want to make using the API. In this, we are reading the URL, access key, and secret key from the web.config. Right now, we have mentioned these in the web.config just for demonstration, but you can take these particular settings from anywhere you want. We have placed them in app settings, as you can see. Access key, DMS access key, secret key, and so on. We read this information from the web.config and create an HTTP web request and specify the properties, such as the method, whether it is post or get, and the content type as application/JSON. We also need to add these headers, the access and secret key for authentication. Once we get the response from this particular API, we return that response to home ASPX and perform whatever action is required. The next part is we have created a generic model where the responses from the API are converted into a dataset. Here, whenever we get the JSON, we convert it into a data table and return it as a dataset. This also calls the request method in the API call class. Next is the create session method. Here, we need to create a session to get the role ID while inserting documents into DMS. This is the create session method we have written. Here also, we need the URL, username, and password, and we create an API request for login. When we create this request, it returns the roles assigned to that particular user. From those roles, we can get the role and create our session and return that session to be used in the DMS APIs. Now let us move to the code behind CS file of the home ASPX page. When the page is loaded, we are filling in the data. There is some default data like country, status, and visa type, which we need to fetch from the ERP system and display on the ASPX page. So what we are doing is getting the dataset, and from that dataset, we are populating the fields on the ASPX page. This dataset is coming from the getDS method, and this calls the VAAPI and retrieves the responses in a dataset format. Once this data is filled, we get the country as well and populate it using the getDS method, which calls the API. Once the data is retrieved, we present the form on the web for the applicant to fill in their information. After they fill in the information and attach the documents, the save applicant method is called, which calls the API insert record M3 endpoint in the VA API and inserts the record into the application table. Once the applicant is saved in the Save Visa application, whatever visa details the applicant has mentioned in the form are saved using the insert record M3 method, which in turn returns the primary key of the created record. After this information is saved, we save the documents in the DMS. For saving documents in DMS, we need a DMS token to insert or update the documents. To get this DMS token, we need the username, password, access key, and the folder ID. We also need to create a session here. This session gives us the role ID that the user has, and by passing these into the getDMSToken method, we can generate the DMS token. When the DMS token is generated, we then insert the documents into the DMS, and attach those documents to the particular record. This is the method from the DMS API that we are using, and we are passing the arguments. The first is the token, then the folder ID, then the byte array of that particular file, then the name of the file, and the version, which we keep as 2. All this information is mentioned in the DMS API document. We will share that document with you as well. When we pass this information, it creates a record and pushes that document into the DMS and attaches it to the visa application. This is the flow we are using to integrate the visa application with the Onfinity ERP using APIs. Let us run this code and see the execution step by step. We will put a breakpoint here, and after that, we will put a breakpoint on the save method. Let us see how the data is fetched from the ERP system. This is my application page here. I will enter the first name as Jane Will, the date of birth as January 1st, 1990, and the gender as female, and the mobile number as +97, and so on. The email address will be jane23@gmail.com. Nationality, the passport number will be 378645, and the passport issue date will be January 1st, 2020, and the expiry date will be January 1st, 2035, and the address will be Street ABC 123, then the city name, region, the zip code, and country. Here, I need to mention the visa details. So I will apply for a work visa, and for which country? I want it for Canada. The expected date of travel is July 2025, and the duration of stay in days will be 50 days. The purpose of travel is business, and for remarks you can give traveling for personal business. Then we will upload the documents here. I have mentioned that we need to upload the hotel booking, passport document, and bank statement. So we will select all these, then click on Proceed. So, this is my breakpoint. When I hit the Proceed button, it will hit here. Let us see what happens here. First, we are saving the address. We are getting the column details of the address table, and we are getting the values of the address from the elements on the UI. If we see the object here, this will make a call to this particular API, insert or update. Here, what we have mentioned is the table name, the column name, and the object values array. If I want to see these values, we will add a quick watch. The record was just inserted here. Now it is going to save the applicant. We are calling the API, and here you can see we are calling the insert or update function. It will create a web request and get the response. From there, the applicant ID will come. If it is greater than 0, then it will save the visa details. Once the visa details are saved, it will go and upload the documents to the DMS folder. We are getting the window ID and the table ID, and here we are creating the session. A session was created. We will use the DMS token that is generated in this request. This is my DMS token, and I am getting everything here: the bytes, the byte array, and the file name. When we insert the record into the DMS using the API, it will give us the response here. Now it will insert the second file here, and then it will insert the third file. I am running this through the code, so that is why it is taking some time. The files have been inserted, and then it displays the message, "Application submitted successfully." This is how we have used our API services to insert data and insert attachments into the DMS. That concludes this session. Thank you for attending.